Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am here today to show you guys how I created my digital escape room. I'm going to show you how I created it. It was super, I shouldn't say easy, but it wasn't like that hard, and you can do it without like costing any money basically. So I just used Google Forms, and then I just created the document on PowerPoint. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of how I did it, and I'm hoping that I'll remember every single step of how I did it. It did take me probably like close to 3 hours to create it the first time, which I know sounds like a long time, but now that I have like the outline of one made, if I made one again, it would probably take me like 30 minutes max, because I already have everything like kind of set up. So if you're interested in how I set up my escape room in a digital way, then just keep watching. Okay, so I probably should have just filmed like my whole screen, but we're just gonna go with it and just show you this way. So sorry if there's like glare like on my screen, but so what I did was I first opened up a new Google form. So I'm just gonna work off the one that I already have created just because it'll help me to remember every step that I did. So I have the missions. So this is what the missions looked like. Each page I just have a different mission, and then I hid them around the room, which I'll go over in just a second. But so created, I think this works a lot better with math lessons versus ELA. You could definitely do it with ELA, but as you'll see, it's not going to be quite as easy to get like exact answers. So as you can see on the first one, I had 4 questions, and then what they had to do was they took the letters of the answers and they had to enter them onto the thing in order for it to take them to the next like page or whatever you want to call it. So in order to do that, because if you don't set it up correctly, it will just let them go to the next page. So I did I believe this is short answer response, and then I just titled it mission 1, and then I just had like what the directions were. So it said enter all answers from mission 1. The only thing that I didn't realize when I did it was I set them up in all caps, and then the kids had to type them in all caps, which was kind of annoying. I wish I would have gone back and changed that, but it's whatever. And then underneath, let me see if I can actually... Okay, so I decided just to make a copy. Sorry, I didn't want to mess mine all up. So I'm going to click like a new question, and then what you had to do was you change it to short answer, and then you click these 3 little dots on the bottom, and then this will pull up. You can make a description or which I think I did both, but you do response validation, and then it won't let them go on without it being the exact answer. So I changed it to text, and then I changed it to contains, and then you type in exactly what you want, and then over here this is what will pop up when they don't get it correct. So if you look at mine, the answers to mine were, and so this would be the description. So I have description turned on as well. And that's why, that's where the instructions were for how to enter the answer. So then here the answer was DCBA, and they had to type it in like that. And if they didn't, then this one, this would say Dragon 1, try again. So it was all dragon themed, if you didn't catch on to that. And then the next one, so then this would pop up on the next time, and it would tell them where to find their mission. So I tried to make them like little riddles that they had to solve, just to add like a little piece of more, I don't know, like a little bit more fun. So this one said find your mission under the forest, but be careful not to disturb the trees. So this one was located underneath our plants that we had been planting. And then for this, because these ones were I did them word problems, so they had to actually type in the exact number for 1 and then the exact number for 2. So you could easily have set up even those other problems like that. So this one was, what was the answer to question number 1, and what was the answer to question number 2, and then oh, and then I have the exact answer. So for this one it's number, and it was equal to, and then the exact like number, and then if they didn't win or they didn't get it correct, then it would give them that message. So that's basically how I set up all the questions. So in order for the kids to get access to the Google form, I had one person in each group grab their Chromebook, and so they opened it up and I had it linked in my Google Classroom. If you don't have Google Classroom or don't use Google Classroom, you just have to find a way to send them the link for the Google form. And then I actually didn't tell my kids this, but it never became an issue, thank goodness, was that they didn't get away from the Google form, because the second they got away from the Google form, like if they tried to open up a new tab and like exited out of it by accident, there was no way they were going to be able to go back. I mean, they could go back and access it again, but they'd have to retype in all the answers, which for second graders that can be kind of difficult. I think actually I had one group do that, and I just went back and I helped them retype in the answers because I just felt bad and they didn't need to spend that extra time, so I did help them with that. But yeah, so I just entered it on there, and then my missions I put in like the what are they called? Is it manila envelopes? No, that's an envelope. Manila folders. Manila folders? Yeah. Ones with like the little tab. I don't know if that's what they're called. I think that's what they're called. And I just had them like located it in the place where the clues led them. And they were just printed out paper copies, and then they would just go and like find it and then bring it back to their area and then solve it. And then one thing I did was I have colored lanyards, and I had 3 of each color, so every kid in the class got a colored lanyard, and then that represented what team they were on. It just made it easier for me to know which team like everyone was on, because they were kind of up around the room a lot. So like I said, I have like the outline kind of set up now, so then the next time I would do it, it would be a lot easier for me, because this one I kept having to like click preview mode and like make sure it worked correctly. And when I was completely done, I had Skylar go through and make sure it like ran properly, just so that there was no like hiccups along the way. He's like, why are you having me do this? And I was like, yeah, because I've stared at it for so long that like I probably won't catch on any mistakes, so I needed someone else to like have their eyes look at it. So he just looked through it and then solved it all the way through, and then realized like he was actually the one who saw that the caps lock was the only thing that worked. So I just ended up telling my kids that. I meant to go back and change it and I just completely forgot. So when you're on here, if you click the little eyeball up at the top, it will allow you to preview it exactly the way the kids will see it. So you can kind of see, oh, it's got that extra one in there. That's okay. Let's see, DCBA. So then they type that in, and then it would take them to the next mission. And so then the little hint was up there. So I did that, and then I did like find the next mission where the healing stickers are, which was where like the band-aids were in our classroom. Just like little things just to I don't know, kind of add to like the fun of it. My students enjoyed this so much. I had 2 teams actually escape out, and honestly I would have let them just like keep going. I wouldn't have put like a time limit on it, just because I feel like I didn't really care to put a time limit on it. But they had to go to one of our like group class things that we do, so I couldn't keep going. So I gave them, I think we ended up working on it for about 45 to 50 minutes, and there was 5 missions total and only 2 groups actually escaped. But they spent a little bit of time kind of figuring out like how to do it. So I think next time it would be a lot quicker, just because they wouldn't have to be spending the time to figure out like, I didn't give them any instructions, so they were just kind of like, do we just type in the answers? And a lot of the groups were trying to type in the numbers on like that first question rather than the letters. So just little things like that they would probably be better at next time if they knew that they needed to like read the instruction on the top and everything like that. So I put my students into groups of 3. Now I do teach second grade, so I made sure, which you may not need to if you teach a higher grade, but I did make sure to kind of put someone in the group who was going to be a strong reader, just because there was some reading that had to be done, and if they couldn't read it properly, they were going to get tripped up on like the next piece. So I did make sure to put someone in there who could kind of be the reader in the group, just because they needed someone who could kind of lead them in that way. And then other than that, I just kind of grouped them according to people I knew would work together well. And I did tell them, like, you guys need to be solving the problems together. Like, one person is not sitting there solving every problem, and if I see that, then I'll separate your group. And it didn't become an issue. I didn't see. I saw them all kind of working together, and it was actually really cool to see them like using their teamwork, especially when it came to the riddles. It was so cute to see them like working together and kind of like trying to figure out where the riddle would be in the room. I thought they'd be a lot easier to figure out. Like I said, one of them was find it in the box of colorful building blocks. So we have a box of Legos in our room, and it took them a long time to be able to find that one, which I thought was gonna be kind of an easy one. So anyway, that's how I created my digital escape room. Totally free, didn't cost me anything. Escape rooms have always been something I've wanted to try, but it's just been like, you have to buy a lot of stuff. You gotta buy like the locks and everything like that, and I just don't know like how to make it work like that. So this was the way I found that would work for me. And honestly, you could use like any like worksheet or anything to like help them solve. So then you can kind of make anything a little bit more interactive than just like something boring. Like, it'd be super fun for test prep or anything like that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys this week as my teacher talk video. If you guys end up creating any digital escape rooms, let me know, and maybe we can kind of like share them. People would ask for me to post it on TPT, but because it's so like specific to my classroom, you'd have to change so much of it, and I don't know, I just felt like it's easier for you guys just to start fresh and create your own. I did share it with like some people at my school, but I was able to kind of like, you know, talk with them to tell them like things that they needed to change, whereas like people out in the world, I can't just like sit there and carry a conversation with you. So I just felt like it was easier probably just to film a video and let you know how to do it, and then you can create one if you choose. But you probably want to do one at the end of the year, because I'm sure you're like me and trying to find anything you can to like fit in that would keep them engaged, because we're down to like the wire of the end of the school year. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and make sure you share it with anyone else that might be interested in digital escape rooms. And with that, I leave you farewell.